Hey guys, thanks for coming back. It is the second round, the second session of our candidate roundtable. And again, I want to thank 107 Cafe, who's putting this on. I want to thank Blair Brothers for helping us out, sponsoring and supporting this event. And thank you for watching, and the candidates for showing up. So, we have Henry Savek from Ward 2, we got Kirk Hooker from Ward 6, Joey Seipels from Ward 4, Carmen McGregor from Ward 5, and Amy Finn from Ward 6. And the topic of discussion is recreational infrastructure, and that is bike lanes, that's our beaches, that's our parks, that's our recreational facilities to engage the community and keep us healthy and happy. And we're going to start off with Carmen. You are already on council, so we're going to hit you up early. Let's start the discussion.
Okay, well, why don't we start with the how about our parks and our fit parks that are in our communities, and the connection that our public health unit has with the municipality. We have a really amazing connection between the two. That's not the case in all municipalities. Some public healths are very separate, so we have a very good working relationship, which allows us to work together to support each other, whether it be our arenas, our fit parks, whatever that, when it comes to public health, and for finding ways to make our community active, whether you're young, old, right. Whether it's through our age-friendly measures, and making our communities a place where we can get out and we can enjoy the fresh air. Yep. And so I think that that's an awesome place to start. We just had a opening of the accessible park in Erio this past weekend, and that's really amazing. Like, I've had my grandchildren down there, and it is really amazing to get down there. If you haven't seen it, you should. We've now started to incorporate some of the walkouts on the beach. They have that also in Erio.
And those are those blue mats, right?
The blue mats, yes, and it actually allows, if you have accessibility issues, it allows you to get out to the waterfront, as opposed to the difficulty of trying to push a vehicle or using a cane or whatever to get through the sand to get out to be able to enjoy the water. Some of us take that so for granted because we don't we don't think of it until you're in a situation that you need it. But there's a lot of good things. There's a lot of fit parks out there now, and we've worked on the chevrons, for bike lanes to have some areas for active biking. We could improve that. We've worked a lot on trails in the last number of years, and that is continuing all the time. We're always working on projects to extend those. They can be expensive, but it's something that we need in all of our communities for all of us to be able to get out and be able to use, whether you want to go for a walk, whether you're pushing a stroller, whether you're in a wheelchair, or whether you're on a bike. We are working towards that. It doesn't happen overnight, but there's a really good plan that is in place, and if you look through the 2035 plan, you will see that there are goals that we have. We just have to work towards them and stay our course and get there.
So you covered pretty much everything.
There you go.
Okay.
Next topic.
Next topic. Recreational infrastructure. Well, let's go to you, Henry. How are we going to pay for this? We're going to spice it up. How are we going to pay for it?
Well, here's the thing. No, here's the thing. So I spent my entire career, people usually come to me not because they're happy, because there's a problem, right? So I spent 29 years helping solve problems. So when I look at our municipality, I can cheerlead like everybody, but there's some problems, and if I could talk about those for a minute, because you bring up Erio, and I fish the bay, it's a beautiful place, but let's talk about the problems. So I hear everybody in Chatham talk about how wonderful Erio is, but we need resources to keep it wonderful and deal with the influx of people that are coming there now. I mean, if you go on a weekend, I've been to the Grand Bend more so when I was younger than now, but if you go to Erio on a weekend, it's quite crazy, but we don't have, if you go there on Monday, we have some garbage problems, the bathrooms aren't nice, in the sense of not taken care of. So we have a lot of issues about, okay, let's push it, but let's make sure the people have a plan in place that's consistent with them, because so we're inviting all these people who don't live in Erio. There's 200 people down in Erio, maybe 300, and all of a sudden 5,000 people are coming down. They're coming to visit. It's like you have 5,000 people over to your house for the weekend, and these folks are in Erio because they love it there, and there has to be a balance between the economies and what we need to do. So there's some issues there that I think we have to address. And I think we can't, we can't overlook the people and say, well, yep, it's great. I know we have some sand in it. I think we put some sand in the plowing match tent, didn't we? We spent like $1.5 million to build this tent down at the plowing match. And we're gonna put sand in there to show people what it's like to go to a beach and things like that I have a problem with. And taxes are crazy. Like, we can talk taxes. We're not supposed to talk about infrastructure or the downtown because you just talked about that, but when taxes aren't sustainable and people have to live somewhere. So if you go to Erie, for example, and you want to live down there, where are you going to live? Where are you going to stay if you come and visit?
Right.
You
Okay.
can't,
I'm gonna interject because
Sure.
I'm actually from Ward 5, but I spend most of my summer and my weekends in Erie. So I'm down there and I've had lots of opportunity. I am, whether it's at Bayside or down at Molly and OJ's and talking to different people. There's a nice little farmer's market that's opened up in Erie. And, yes, I'm there. I've been there on some long weekends and when the town empties out and yeah, there are some of these problems, but I also know that the businesses that are there in Erie make their money when those 5,000 people
Yeah.
are coming in every weekend
Oh,
because after Labor Day and probably maybe not so much Labor Day, but after Thanksgiving, basically everything
let's talk
rolls
about
out.
that. Let's talk
So
about that.
you have people that are down there working and thriving there. Yes, maybe we need to find a better way to be able to handle the flow of people coming into the area, but I think that there's lots of ways of finding out that information, whether it be communicating with another municipality that does the same thing, like Grand Bend. They obviously have the very same problems, the very same issues, and so maybe you look at other ways of handling the aftermath of that. But I do also know that there are a lot of people within the Erie area that rely on that time of year and they rely on that tourism to come in. And if we want to encourage tourism to come to Chatham-Kent, we need to find those ways to do that. But we have to make it a positive experience for people
But
to
here's
want to
our
come
issue.
in.
You bring that up, and that's great. But when we ask about, can we get 2 students to clean the beach, we're told no. And I was there when I asked that question from the incumbent. No, we can't give you 2 students. Now, when I go to the municipal building to file my Freedom of Information request, because the administration doesn't share information, I see 2 students watering the petunias. I go to Erie, and you wouldn't want to take your child into the washroom because it's not clean. We couldn't take the 2 students who are watering the petunias, so it looks nice when you go to City Hall, down to Erie to pick up the garbage on the beach.
Well,
and to me, that's an issue that you could fix like that because I'm in business. And by the way, I live around the corner, and I benefited from the businesses and the people that go to Erie. I'm not suggesting we should stop that. What I'm suggesting is, for example, we had a municipal parking lot. You're familiar with the one? Okay. It was suddenly turned into residential. If we could turn that back into a parking lot, which it should be, we can have another 500 people come on the weekend and park safely. Would you be okay with that?
You know what, I would say that it would have to be looked at and whether that's the right venue to do it. And I know you're giving me that look, and I
What's
you
that
know,
look? Sorry,
that
I'm
look,
getting
you
some
just
water.
give me
I
a
had-
look like,
I
we need to
That's
look
dressed
at
some
that.
garlic tonight
I would
and I got a little
not,
trouble
if
with
there's
the gas.
if there's anything I've learned from my first term on council is, I'm not gonna sit here and make promises to you of what the municipality can do or what I can do in those 4 years, because we work as a team together there and we work with administration. They have to go out and look at different areas to see if they changed a parking lot and designated it differently, there was probably a reason for it. And if the parking's an issue, then we look at other areas for parking. But for me to just sit here and say, do I think that's a good idea to turn it back? I would not do that without having the proper information in my hands. And I've learned that you have a lot to learn over your first term of council when
I
you
have a
get
lot
in
to
there.
learn?
We all do, yes, even you will have a lot to
I
learn
appreciate
on your
learning
first
from
term
you,
of
but
council.
I can tell you that when you go to Erie, and I'm in business, so it's common sense. And if we needed a parking lot to be done on the weekend, it wouldn't take us 4 years because it's already a parking lot. In fact, the municipal sign is still there that says municipal parking. We just can't use it because when they did the sidewalk, they didn't leave the entrance to the parking lot. So in business, what we do, and in real life, is we say, this is a problem, let's fix it. We don't need to hire $5 million worth of consultants to tell us, or the $70,000 on the New Scotland line to hire someone to tell us where to put a culvert.
And that's, and I guess that's probably one of the big things. And I know, like 4 years ago, I remember when I was going into council thinking that, I didn't understand why we just couldn't do things and why the bureaucracy, why we have to do it. But we have administration that is very educated and very well trained to be able to look at things properly, because when there's always cause and effect, and you would know that when you do one thing, there might be a change to something else. So we rely on those expertise. I am by no means an expert from the engineering department, nor are you. And we have to rely on the experts that we have hired within the municipality to do that. Do I think we should look at it? Most definitely. Is that something that should come to the council table and say, yes, bring us a report on that. Let's look at this. How can we change that? Because that's what we can do as council. That's what we can do as a group together. We can all talk about these things. It can come for debate, and then we can ask administration, could you please give us a report on this? There's an issue in Erio. This is what the problem is. Can you please bring back a report and let us know?
And this is why you guys tune in to Facebook Live. So we're having fun. But here's what we'll do. But we do also have Amy Finn, Joey Cyples, and Kirk Hookett here. And we are going to listen to Amy Finn for a minute.
I want to touch, he brought up about the garbage on the beach and not having students. I have a park in my neighborhood. We recently, as a neighborhood association, we put basketball nets in. We get garbage. You have high school students that need hours. I have boys that have gone down and picked up garbage. It's to keep that area. You can't have all the good and not expect some bad in there. Grand Bend, prime example. When you go there, you're gonna have garbage after there. They don't have all the employees cleaning up. There's a lot of locals that clean up. So.
Talking 2 students for a summer.
Well.
Like, we're not talking we're talking May 2-4 until Labor Day. Can we find 2 students?
I don't have students that clean up my park.
Kirk, where are you at on this?
It's.
I want to know what Kirk has to say.
My big argument is, like, Chatham-Kent's a beautiful place to live. Mitchell Bay, Erio, Rondo.
All
you
of us
know,
together.
I'm a race car driver, been a race car driver most of my life. Now I'm into boating. Like, I took my boat to Mitchell's Bay and launched it 2 days in a row. $38. Like, that is ludicrous. Like, come on. And it's a dirty, dirty arena. I hate to say it, like, the marina is dirty. That needs to be cleaned up. When I'm spending $40 to go there, and there's garbage laying everywhere.
Come to Erio.
I'm a Dover boy.
No,
but I just think, like, we need to spend our money more wisely. Like, you guys debating back and forth, that should be taken in the back room. That's my deal. You know.
But we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook Live. I'm sure there's great conversation going on.
But I seriously think we need to worry about our parks, our arenas.
We need to get people out.
The twin pads it's a huge topic. I think it's a smoke and mirror deal myself. I'm being honest with you. If I told you, it is a great idea. We do need an arena, and we do need to make it cost effective. Like, I got a guy that works for me to sign his kid up for hockey this year was $750. A normal guy can't afford that unless they're doing 2 jobs or doing other things. Like, you know, like I said to you before about, like, we need to spend some money in our community and outside of the community. Like, I'm talking Ward 6 because this is Chatham, like the walking parks and that. Like, all these new buildings and all our new houses, they need to be put in paths that's accessible to tie them into our other paths. Like, I understand you can't take a path on Missioner and tie it into something because there's nothing there.
No, but you should be able to go eventually from Bothwell all the way out to Tilbury on a bicycle.
I agree.
Because if you go to Toronto, the entire city is accessible on a bike. We are a municipality. We are not just Blenheim. We are not just Tilbury.
Well, I
the
agree.
only time that comes into effect is when
Here's
you're
the thing,
mailing.
Amy. We own the railroad. Let's do something with it.
We need to.
But, well, what are you going to do with it? I know, here's the thing is,
We need
you're
to.
either going to get rid of it or use it. I know it's a sore subject with everybody,
$6 million, and it's
but we
$100,000 a year.
but they
We
can't
already
give you
own
2
it. You
kids to
can't
go
turn
pick
back
up
the
garbage.
time.
Well, in a business world where you make a dumb deal, you sell it, take your losses, and move on. You don't continually
But we
avoid
don't.
selling it because it's called loss aversion. You don't really lose the money until you sell it. So let's hang on to it to at least after this election, because we won't sell it, or get the buck that we're probably gonna get for it, because
But
we
why
wanna
not
get
sell off
reelected.
the
Let's
materials
be
and
honest, what are we
utilize
gonna
it?
do? Has there been a phase 2 on the gravel they're spreading around our community? Probably not. The metal is worth less than brand new metal today, and in their consultant's report, it's supposed to cost $1.2 million to get it out of there. No one's lining up to buy that stuff.
So
let's
this is
just-
Joey Seipels.
Joey? What do you think?
He's from Ward 4. He's wearing a blue shirt, and he has been here for a while. I want to know what's going on in Ward 4, my friend, and
All right.
what your input is on this.
I'm going to take this a total different direction.
Good, yeah.
Thank you. So we have lots of opportunity to improve, our parks and recreation, our beaches. Accessibility is an issue. I think our assets can be better utilized. What I'd like to see is a Parks, Recreation, and Sports Tourism
Right.
committee started. Have maybe 2 council members on it and some members of the community. We talk about, building bike paths, railroad, there's a whole bunch of things. But I think a committee that's represented all the way throughout the municipality and start doing things on a coordinated effort, right? To build a little bike path somewhere without anyone looking at it from a holistic view and a long-term view. I think a committee would be a lot of help on
Sports,
all
rec,
these issues.
and tourism.
Yeah, in sports tour, there's a lot of tourism opportunities, ag tourism, our beaches. We have a lot of history, heritage, but sports tourism.
Oh, yeah.
When you go down to Mitchell's Bay, paddle boarding or windboard, like there's a lot of cool stuff, but our assets are being underutilized. So I think a committee of a bunch of members in the municipality and some council members could maybe solve some of these issues.
You have to make
I
it
think, yeah.
affordable.
Yep.
Make it affordable for everybody from all walks. Not just those organized sports where you've got the hockey and the soccer and the baseball. Like he says, a lot of people can't afford it. But we do have to get the people out to enjoy our parks, to enjoy our streets, the bicycle paths. Is it an easy solution? No, it isn't. But if you live in an area, you have to take pride in that area. You know what, like I said, do I like going down to pick up garbage? No. But I know there's been kids in that park. They've been using that park. So I pick up the garbage. My kids pick up the garbage. The neighbors pick up the garbage. But it's, like I said, it's the kids that are out there getting involved, doing something. They're not out breaking windows. They're actually taking pride in playing basketball. And I tell you, I would listen to that all night long, those bouncing balls, because I know the kids are there and they're getting active instead of sitting in there playing some video game.
That's community pride,
Yep.
right? And it's, and I think you would find, like, if you go across Chatham-Kent, Chatham-Kent's amazing.
It is.
And if you go from community to community, we all have our different community groups and our different network of people that work within our groups.
We're all
And
unique.
Joey had mentioned about having a committee. I think some of the committees that work the best, yes, you need maybe some counselors there to bring information back and to kind of provide information on how to move around the municipality to get to the right department, to the right person to do that. But the committees that are actually formed up of community members are really the ones that become successful, because they really do offer more of the flavor of what's going on within that community or within that type of committee. And there are a lot of committees. Some are of council, some are not of council, that councillors still sit on and take part in. But it is really a good way to activate and engage the community in different projects. And I think that just having that, we need to have that overall pride for all of Chatham-Kent. We need to we need to stop thinking in 22 or 23 separate little buckets. We need to think of, I need to think of the need of your park as much as I need to think of the beach at Erio, and I need to think about the waterfront in Wallaceburg. So, I think as effective councillors, that's what we need to do. We really need to bring Chatham-Kent together as a whole. Maintain our separate identities, because we all have amazing and unique things within each of our communities, but we still need to get that, bring us together so that we build a strong Chatham-Kent, because when we become synced and we show that pride and that positivity happens, that's when people are going to come to Chatham-Kent. When they see the positivity through all of our communities, that's when they're going to want to come, and that's when that's when we will be able to show off all of our things. Like, I know we probably need that one major thing, you know, when you look at Newfoundland has these amazing commercials, and as does other areas in the East Coast, but you know, that attraction, and I think like our community and attraction area are working on that. We have some pretty cool videos, and this year we have the IPM followed by the Pinty, followed by, you know, Saturday night hockey that is happening in this community. What better way to showcase Chatham-Kent? Like, this year is a good way to take it from there and move forward and
A lot of
continue.
big things happen.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Or enjoy those staycations you and I talked
The
about before.
staycations.
The staycations,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, I call them the
Yeah.
Seacations.
Seacations.
Okay. So you can travel around Chatham-Kent
Yes.
on a
Yeah.
vacation.
And golf.
And
Okay.
Golf.
And golf. And golf.
fish.
So what can we do to get people more healthy? Because recreation infrastructure, I mean, also has to do with health. We're not the healthiest community.
No, we're not. Actually, considering
Right.
all that we do have to offer, we do have some of the higher rates of obesity, heart disease, and different things within Chatham-Kent. And so yes, we do have to work on that active community. And you know, it's easy to say to somebody that, you know, you need to get out and get active. I don't think it's necessarily the municipality's place to make all those directions. I think it's the municipality's place to provide the venues and work on, make it accessible, provide those venues, but then we have other areas that have to encourage people to get out and to use them. You know, some people were very upset when we put bike chevrons in communities, and I remember it, and when that first happened. So, you know, we have to have a better understanding of why they're there and get behind them and promote them.
And there's a lot of people actually that want more. So there's a big
Yep.
battle against that. Henry, we haven't heard from you in a while.
I thought I was told to be quiet for a minute.
You and I temporarily threw myself into there. So let's go back to
You
you.
hit me when it's time. So one of the issues.
Okay.
Well, no, I know man.
By the way, Henry and I are going to be back on a Facebook Live soon. We'll have
I'm not
boxing
sure.
gloves, you know.
No, I'm just kidding. Here's the thing that and again, I apologize because when I bring up the problems, people say all you do is talk about problems. But if there weren't problems, I wouldn't be running, because it's the only thing I know how to try to fix. That's all I've done all my life. I love parties to cheer on victories. I've had a few, but this is what I do. So when someone tells me about health and we're all in this together, I think if we're all in this together, why is my ward getting 26 million tons of Toronto garbage? Just a thought. We're all in this together. Why is I shouldn't bring up the gas, but you're going to pump waste gas into my town and burn it off and do all those wonderful things. It's not going to Chatham. It's coming to my ward. So I get a little chip on my shoulder. And then in Erie O, we have 89 playgrounds in Chatham-Kent. 88 are not accessible. I asked, where's the money coming to make them accessible? It's coming from the infrastructure budget. In Erie O, we hear we're going to sell hot dogs and fish. I have a problem with that. We're just like you. We shouldn't have to sell fish and hot dogs to make a wheelchair accessible playground. It should be funded by the municipality. We send 25 million to you. We'd like some back. Is that okay?
That was good. What can we do about making the other 88 more accessible?
Well, here's what we have to do. I think if we agree that we can't do anything about the 26 million tons of garbage, there is an issue of, and the New York company that owns it has been litigated in Washington for this. We have to make sure we monitor everything that happens at that site. We have to make sure the aquifers are checked, not just surface runoff. We have to make sure that we take care of people and we can bring in, you know, environmental studies at different universities. And maybe garbage will be a growth industry for us. We'll bring in universities to look at this to make sure that people are safe. Because we cannot believe that you're going to bring, and by the way, methane gas comes from organics that we don't recycle. If we recycled, or Toronto would, we should maybe get Toronto to recycle, because they wouldn't send us the organics that make the methane that we then have to deal with. So those are conflicting issues for me. We have a health issue, and I can tell you, I know Trevor's here, but when I saw his thing where he had a rash from drinking the water, true story, I got filters on my water last week.
Well, you should live out in Dover and Chatham Township.
Exactly.
Where they got a truck in water.
No,
But here's the deal.
Yeah, go.
But that's fine for people out in Chatham and Dover to have brown water.
No, it's not.
Oh yeah, Chatham Council thinks it's awesome.
It's not okay.
Which I just
So let me-
cannot believe beside
Let me finish
myself.
my chlorine story. I should thank Trevor, because when we took the chlorine out, the water doesn't stink anymore, right? And it's not brown anymore, and I've got these chlorine systems going on. And I think everybody's gonna need this, because we have to put so much chlorine into the water, right? To make it safe to drink, that the chlorine's getting toxic when it interacts. You say you don't know much. Well, since 6 months I've been studying all these things, even culverts, for Christ's sake. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say. But here's the deal. We have to take care of our health, but we can't just say it. We have to do something about it. People, you're absolutely right. There's 25 people, or how many households, aren't gonna have water tonight. How is that okay?
But that's all right. Chatham
It's not
Town,
okay.
No, they think it's fine.
Well, don't, she's nice, don't point at her.
But
But
here,
I'm just saying.
here's the deal.
Do you want to get me going?
Oh, yeah.
Fire. Here's the deal. You take your water tonight. I have 5 guys that work for me. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say who it was, and he was not feeling well for 2 weeks. He was drinking water, and I went over to his house, and I had Orion water with him. Well, it was more like Orion chlorine. So listen to me. We ended up checking the chlorine level off my pool things. It was higher than in my pool,
That's right.
which is just ludicrous.
That's right. But you have to do it to make the water safe, because there's so much stuff in the water. So that's why I'm not trying to push filters. I don't sell them or anything.
Neither
I'm just
do I,
telling
but
you.
I'm just saying, like, there's so many things that are getting neglected in our beautiful Chatham-Kent.
Well, and then I get concerned, because if you're a little child or a big, listen, I see over-diagnosis of ADD every day, and it's crazy. There's a lot of people who don't have ADD who get diagnosed because of other issues. I'm going to tell you that right now. And when you have a pregnant woman or someone drinking that water, I mean, I'm not talking just going on Google. Talk to the scientists about it. We have to monitor that. We have to tell the people, this much is in your this much chlorine is in your water, and this is what it does to you. I'm not trying to alarm people. It's about health, and
It's
we
the
can
truth.
fix it. We can fix it, but we have to first. You can't fix a problem until you admit it. You know, everybody say, "Well, this is great." Yeah, it's all great, but let's admit the problem. Say I'm sorry, and let's fix it.
So, can I ask, are you on a well?
No, I get city water.
Okay, okay. I'm just
That's worse.
curious.
If I was on a well, you could
Just-
blame my well,
Just
but-
curious. So, and as far as council not caring about the wells out in Dover, that's by no means is that correct
Like, come on,
statement.
Carmen. You
Now,
got
come on.
people out
First
there.
off,
You got.
Randy-
I could give you a list of people.
Kirk, you know, for one thing, it's all provincially controlled.
Oh, here we
Number
go.
one,
Here we
number
go.
one, those wells and
Did you
the
guys
insert of
vote for
wells.
them windmills out in our area?
You know what? We
That's
have
all
been.
I got to add.
No.
I'm not- I'm
listen,
running
listen
for
to me.
Ward 6.
No, no. We have been a welcoming community for one particular reason. Because if we have to have them, and if the
Well, why
province
don't
is
you
going
go
to
out
put
there
them
and
there,
welcome the
we
Blairs
might as
to
well
having brown
we might
water?
as well get money from them.
Oh,
And
man.
we
Here
might as
go
well.
on.
No, no.
So
Okay,
now
so
it's
I
about
agree,
money.
No.
Stop
Now
for
listen.
money.
Now
hold
listen
on
to
a
me.
minute, okay?
Listen
So-
to
Give
me.
Carmen-
I
give Carmen a
believe
minute.
I believe in green energy more so than I believe in coal and other types of energy. Do I believe that the ministry did a good job in the placement of those wells? No. Do I believe that they should have taken a better look at the aquifer before placing those
I
windmills
sat there and
in?
listened
Yes,
to
I
pile
do.
driving
Yes,
for
I
a
do.
month at the golf course.
Come on,
You
give me a
invested
minute.
in it.
Give me a minute.
No,
okay?
there's no
No,
minutes.
if you're gonna,
it's
if you're gonna,
hours,
if you're
Carmen.
gonna
It's a
point
bad
that,
deal.
if you're gonna point out that
Carmen, I
council
don't-
likes you to drink brown water, then you need to
do.
listen to me too. And actually, we'll talk later because this is not fair to everybody else out here. But you know
They're loving
something?
it.
There's more than one
Carmen,
side to
I'm
every
not
story.
gonna lay down on this
you know,
deal.
there's more
Carmen, you
than
got
one
people
side.
out there that got brown water.
I
Are you
know.
doing anything about it?
We
no.
have- we have been
Simple
trying-
Deal. No.
we have been trying
You
to
haven't
help
been
them.
trying. They got to pay for their own water now. Come on.
Okay,
Carmen.
so all the people watching online, you're welcome. And we're gonna go back to we gotta go back to my man. Okay, back to Joey Cyples. Okay.
Come on, you gotta get in here, buddy.
We got about 5 minutes left, and we're going to talk about the topic we were talking about earlier, recreational infrastructure.
There we
and
go.
We're going to go back there
That was the topic.
and talk about it for each person in the ward. Okay, so we got a picture of well water. All right.
So that's good, right, Carmen?
Okay, so
You're gonna take your kids and drink that and wash it and do whatever with your grandkids. That's fine.
all right. So, Joey, Ward 4. What's your bottom line on recreational infrastructure? And I know we've got a little off topic on it, but put you on the hot seat here, and for those people watching at home, he's in the hot seat right now. Your ward
Within
specifically. Your
Ward
ward
4?
specifically. Yep. do you guys think?
Recreational infrastructure.
Yep. Do you need more bike lanes? Do you need us to clean up the beaches? What do you got?
Bike lanes, I do support bike lanes, but it needs to be looked at, not this one-off type thing. If we're going to do bike lanes, it needs to be fully analyzed. We need full buy-in. It needs to be long-term. Just doing this little spots and areas, I don't think that's the right way of doing things. But specifically for Ward 4, I think we can do more in Mitchell's Bay. It's beautiful. It's warm water. Some of the warmest water, and I think it's being underutilized. So could we do more infrastructure? Help some entrepreneurs maybe with some seed money. When I was talking about paddleboarding and stuff. $1,500 can probably get you a couple of paddle boards,
Right.
and sit out for the summer with a nice little tent and make some money in the summer. I think there's a lot of opportunity to help
Good
out.
stuff.
Maybe-
Amy,
Yeah.
what do you got? Ward 6. What do you think are number one
Well,
thing?
like I said, we just need to get people out. We have to provide something for them to get out too.
Right.
Because I'm a single mom. I've got 4 boys, and there is no way I could afford to put them in hockey. So we look outside, we go out there. Is it perfect? No. But it's what we have until we can work together. And like I said, I grew up in Blenheim, I grew up in Richtown. I got family in Aereo and Tilbury and Wallaceburg. So I know what they all have. We need to work together to be one and improve in little areas and eventually as a whole.
Right. Kirk, what about you here in Ward 6 as well?
What I think of Ward 6?
Well, recreational infrastructure, Kirk. Okay, we're going to try and stick to this one. Okay.
I think realistically we need just to. I'm so revved up right now about other things. No, it ain't nothing. No, I seriously think we need to work on some bike paths. Work on our arenas. We got to get the people out off these iPhones and iPads.
Right.
These kids, and I've had to let 2 kids go because that's all they know how to do. They don't know how, to text you or
Right.
pick the phone up and call me.
Yep.
Because then you hear the tone of the voice. When somebody texts you, that's garbage. I want to hear what they got to say. And you've texted me before, and I won't reply.
You call me right
I'll
back.
call you right back. But I think we just need to work on our parks, clean them up, see what happens with our arenas. Hopefully, we can come up with some money. I'm sure we can come up with some federal and provincial funding for these arenas that we're talking about doing,
Yep.
and move on. Like Chatham-Kent, they say we're an aging community, but I've been banging on doors for probably 4 weeks, 5 weeks now, and the people that are moving down this way, they're younger people. We just got neighbors that just moved in. They're in their 30s, and they come from Toronto,
Yep.
but they're working out of their houses. They're not working in the community, but and they love Chatham-Kent, and they like everything that everybody's doing. We just got to clean up some of messes in Chatham.
All right. And Henry, we're getting down to the last couple minutes here, so we're going to go. Henry, I'm going to just let you go.
You didn't let me go.
You did.
No, I didn't. No.
2 quick things. I just want to respect the person who brought this picture, because one of the first place I went to was out there where the water was when I decided to run. Even though people say you're crazy, they can't vote for you and stuff. But I went out and visited, and the issue that I think they have is an issue of trust and integrity, because the municipality put in 6 or 7 million to these companies, so they're actually an owner of the company. So when you go and you have a complaint against the company to your municipal people who actually have a vested, it's kind of, we used to call that a dual relationship kind of thing. So that hurt I think, made the emotions happen. So I think there's a lot of issues there we can fix pretty quickly. The age thing is interesting because our 65 and over is our largest group, but our newborns to 14 are our second largest group. 16,000 people are young children, are newborns to 14. That's a huge opportunity. There's a lot we can, and I think one thing we have to do as counselors, we have to talk to these school boards and say, you're not shutting the school in my town. Because if we lose schools in our towns, we're going to have a significant problem. I know they're going to say that's education, but no, we have some weight there. And you're not going to close schools in our towns. Because if we do that, we lose that piece that's vital to our communities to grow. And we can argue and have a pop later. I'm good with that. It's always been like that.
And let's wrap it up, Carmen.
Well, I think that we are working on a lot of these things within Chatham-Kent, and they take time, and we have a good plan and a good vision in place right now in the 2035 plan. And unfortunately, things don't happen instantly like they do on the internet, and so we have to do that. We need a council that is going to work together, hopefully in a positive manner, to make some improvements in Chatham-Kent, because I think that if we want to work together, you know, you have to work together as councillors. You can't just sit and fight with each other, because that's how nothing happens and things don't get done. You have to work together to build all of Chatham-Kent and in all of our areas. Is everything perfect in Chatham-Kent? By no means is everything perfect in Chatham-Kent. Will it ever be perfect? No, it will not. But can we work towards it? Yes, we can. And do we have to change direction sometimes along the way because what we were doing wasn't working properly? Yes, we do. But we have to do it as a group together, and because if we can't be positive around the horseshoe and have a good direction around the horseshoe, then, you know, then we're just the laughing stock out in the community, the group that can't get along, and we can't get anything accomplished. We have to find a way to get along, and probably not doing like we were doing tonight, because we should have taken that away from this table.
Respond to that.
No,
I mean,
but we need to take that away
there.
from this table, because I think, you know, if you're going to do that, we need to seriously look at how we promote all of us and all of us together and work as a team together, because that's the only way we will ever make change happen.
All right. Awesome. Okay, I want to thank Henry, Kirk, Joey, Carmen, and Amy for sitting down and having fun. I know I can't wait to
Thanks for having us.
watch the comments after. And thank you, everybody. And again, we're going to be back on at 8:15, so it's going to go on a little delay here. And then 8:15, we'll be back on with our next round. And thank you. And please hit that share button if you already haven't. Thank you.